Hello folks, Charlie Gipple here. Today we are going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun today because first of all, I just drank a full can of Monster, so I feel like I have some octane added to this thing. Actually, that's my son's. He left it in the refrigerator and I stole it. So when he gets home from school here in a couple hours, he's going to be really mad, but I digress. I want to talk about the first of the two epidemics. The two major epidemics. We have a lot of epidemics when we talk about financial security and retirement and aging and all that stuff. But the two most important, most prominent in my mind, I'm going to talk about one of those two. By the way, the first one that I'm not going to talk a whole lot about is longevity. We as a country, not just a country, a world, heck, this isn't an epidemic, this is a pandemic. Japan, for example. Japan, do you know that there are more adult diapers sold in Japan than there are baby diapers? It is not just a United States problem and our 330 million people in the United States. It's also a Japan issue. It's also a China issue with their 1.4 billion people. But I'm not really going to talk about the aging thing as at least beyond what I already have talked about. I want to talk about the second pandemic, which goes hand in hand, which is the long-term care risk. Today, the average cost of a nursing home, and these are statistics you've heard before, but in case you haven't, I will recite them. Around $100,000 for a private nursing home stay, around $100,000 for a private room in a nursing home. But do people, when they go on claim, do people go directly into the nursing home? No, typically they don't. In a prior life, I learned that over 70% of claims, at least initially, that first claim that a consumer goes on when it comes to anything long-term care, is it in the nursing home? No, it is actually in the household, right? And in-home care is around half of that $100,000. I want to say $47,000 is a national average in-home care. And by the way, that statistic speaks to the fact that this is not nursing home insurance, right? This is stay out of the nursing home insurance. This is flexibility to the consumer so they don't have to go on Medicaid. By the way, my mom was a nursing home administrator. She retired a while back. Around 10 years ago, I asked her, I said, Mom, in your somewhat wealthy town, up in northern Iowa with a bunch of rich farmers, what percentage of the people in your nursing home were on Medicaid? She said, I would say probably about 50%. That is huge. 50% of those folks in a nursing home, and I later learned that that is kind of the state average, right? 50% effectively have no assets. Why? Because they had to spend down those assets and then go on Medicaid government assistance so that government can help them pay for their nursing home stay, right? But again, it's stay out of the nursing home rather than nursing home insurance that maybe some of the folks 20 years ago may have called this stuff. But there are a lot of forms of this, which is really the topic of conversation today. Going to talk about traditional long-term care on my next piece of paper, along with the other stuff that I'm going to talk about first on this first piece of paper, and that is this whole alphabet soup. Hybrid products, combination products, ADBs, accelerated death benefit riders, LBs, linked benefit products. What's the difference between these? Well, the larger category, the entire group of all of these, is what is called hybrid products or combination products. So hybrid, this is kind of the general group or combination. So a lot of people may say linked benefits. Well, linked benefits, they are synonymous with hybrid combo products. Well, yes, a linked benefit is in fact a hybrid or a combo product, but that doesn't mean that every hybrid or combo product is in fact a linked benefit product. They are not synonymous, and I'm not just splitting hairs here. I want to make sure that you know the differences because although this terminology many times is referred to as synonymous, it's not, and you'll see once we get into the benefits and features of each of these particular hybrid/combination products. So that is the larger category group. But a hybrid or combo product, the definition of a combination or a hybrid product is an annuity or life insurance product that also offers the benefits of some sort of a long-term care thing, some sort of a long-term care benefit, right? So there are three primary categories, subcategories of hybrid combination products. Let's see, there's 1 and 2, 3. On the left-hand side, you have annuities. There are some annuities out there, actually a lot of annuities out there, since I'm going to talk about it this way, a lot of annuities out there that have long-term care benefits. A traditional design, which isn't really prominent. I don't see this around a whole lot, but I know that there are some out there. Maybe, okay, you put in $100,000 of premium into an annuity, and if you cannot do 2 activities of daily living, there was an automatic bump up, right? Say your $100,000 goes to $120,000 or $130,000. Well, that's an annuity that has a long-term care benefit, so that would be classified as a hybrid or a combo product, right? And there are a million different designs. This is a problem with talking in generalities, which I need to do, because as soon as I start talking about specifics, that's a slippery slope, and there are millions of these types of products out there, right? So annuities. I would also put into this category something that is really proliferated with guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefits, and it looks something like this. If you're 65 years of age, you can take out for the rest of your life retirement income of, say, 5% for the rest of your life. Whatever that benefit base is, take out 5% of that for the rest of your life. But if you experience this trigger, this long-term care trigger, like, for instance, you cannot do 2 activities of daily living, that 5% then goes to 10% of your benefit base. Benefit base, I won't get into all that. Many of you know what that is, but you know what I'm saying here. The most prominent conversation, however, is on the middle and right-hand side of this. There is a difference between accelerated death benefit products or accelerated death benefit riders on life insurance and linked, I'll just do link, I'll forget the ED for now, please forgive me, linked bennies. The difference between those two, right off the bat, the difference between those two is that linked benefits, they have an extension of benefits rider or a continuation of benefits rider. What do I mean by that? Well, with accelerated death benefit riders, which most indexed universal life policies have, many universal life policies have, most whole life policies have, there are some term policies today that have accelerated death benefit riders. And what is this? This says that the entire death benefit, no more than the entire death benefit, this is important because this is a difference between this and that. The accelerated death benefit rider says that the death benefit, but no more than the death benefit, can be accelerated out to the consumer for purposes of long-term care. The trigger being, for instance, that consumer cannot do 2 activities of daily living for a 90-day period of time. By the way, that's a beautiful thing. That is life insurance. That's not death insurance, right? The trigger is something while you're still alive. You don't have to die in order to get the death benefit. But here is the limitation to this versus this, is only the death benefit, no more than the death benefit can be accelerated, right? That's the difference. Now, the accelerated death benefit category, as many of you know, and I'll do a talk on this as well, broken into it's broken into several actually. There are terminal illness riders, there are critical illness riders, but the 2 that I'm referring to for the purposes of long-term care and this whole morbidity talk are chronic illness riders as well as true long-term care riders. There are differences between those 2, which is a whole different talk for another time. I've done a lot of presentations on this. By the way, if you want to do a webinar on this versus this, you're going to find that you're going to get 1,000 people on that webinar pretty darn easily, at least if you can tell a story in a compelling way. Linked benefits, here is the difference with linked benefits. Again, a linked benefit, depending on the carrier, it's called an extension of benefit rider or a continuation of benefit rider, right? What does this mean? It means, let's take there are flexible premiums and there are single premiums here, right? Single premium, let's say you put in $100,000 to where here, that $100,000 dump in single premium may turn into a death benefit of $250,000. The total long-term care benefit that can be accelerated at most is how much with the accelerated death benefit? $250,000, right? What about over here on the right-hand side? More than the death benefit. Meaning that a common structure may be you put in $100,000 depending on your age, the underwriting, all that other stuff. The death benefit is, say, $200,000. By the way, there's a sacrifice there, the death benefit as well as maybe cash value. So there is always a sacrifice there. It's just a matter of what's important. So $100,000 premium going in, $200,000 as a death benefit. What can be taken out in the form of long-term care benefit? Maybe it's 300,000. Maybe it's 400,000. Maybe it's 500, 600,000, right? Depending on the product. That's what a linked benefit is. And that is that EOB, extension of benefits, versus the COB. In other words, linked benefits are not the same as just flat accelerated death benefit products, right? Linked benefits are not synonymous with hybrid or combo products. They are a subcategory of those, right? And by the way, you also have just traditional LTCI, traditional long-term care insurance. I draw a spectrum usually. You know, you have on the left-hand side ADBs, in the middle you have linked benefits, and on the right-hand side you have just traditional LTCI. Generally speaking, the farther to the right that you go, the higher the long-term care leverage, right? But also, generally speaking, the further to the right you go from a death benefit standpoint, maybe even cash value standpoint as well. It goes the other way, right? How much cash value, how much death benefit do you have with traditional long-term care insurance? Typically it's zero, right? So there's a positive relationship the further to right that you go with the long-term care leverage per dollar of premium you put in versus the long-term care pool. And there is a inverse relationship going to the right, how much death benefit you get. Typically the accelerated death benefit product is going to have more of a death benefit leverage than the linked benefits. And we could get into, well, flexible premium versus single premium. That's when it gets complicated. Again, I'm speaking in generalities here. Hope that helps. Have a good day. Comment if I missed anything. Comment if you like videos like this. I could do more on the linked benefit thing. Thanks.